Hello again, YouTube. This is the truth, man. I'm finna give y'all a mouthful. Pause. But I'm finna break it down for y'all, man. And I hope that what I'm about to tell a lot of you guys will steer you away from all this marriage, especially marriage license. If you just gotta get married, make sure you don't get no marriage license, man. Because it's really what the Most High think anyway. It's not what these men think. You know, and if you and another woman, y'all agree to be married, but y'all not gonna be married on paper, and y'all get y'all agreement how it's gonna go if y'all go y'all separate ways, that's the way to do it. And after this, you'll probably see why. I'm not finna put you all the way in my business, but I'm finna tell a story, and I would call this a married man's testimony. So, I just had another pretty bad argument with her. Like, we've been separated. Like, we got it on paper that we separated. And I know she gonna get me, oh, you putting them in my business. Ain't no hiding. Everybody probably knows by now. But since December 29th, I wrote it up on a piece of paper. Was that last year or was that the year before? I think it was the year before. Might have been 2021. It's been a while. I will have to look at the paper. But I'm going to go back to the beginning and I'm going to show you how things play out sometime. And don't take this as disrespect towards her. It's not disrespect towards her. This type of things happen in relationships and it ain't nothing to hide. I ain't trying to keep up no appearances. Y'all finna find out a lot of what shaped how I think today. So let's go back to the beginning. I had plenty of women, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, when I met her the first time, she rejected me, and I told y'all that's a red flag. Because if they reject you initially, they're gonna spend the whole time in entitlement and princess mode. That's why when they reject you, you should just be like, okay, she rejected me. Let's see what else is out here. Don't keep pursuing no woman that reject you. Because things could take turns for the worst. We finna go from the beginning. And this not gonna be my shortest video, so. And again, I'm not throwing nobody under the bus. I'm just telling you guys, I'm showing you guys how things be. I'm finna show you. So in the beginning, I had a lot of women. I was dealing with a lot of women. I still was talking to my girl from college, but I broke up with her because I didn't want to deal with long distance. Like, I didn't trust women like that, like as far as long distance relationships and stuff like that. It wasn't really nothing she did, even though my mother said that she called our phone and asked for somebody else by accident. I didn't get upset with that because I already knew she was going to do that because I was cheating on her in college a couple times. Like, I already knew she didn't have me fooled. I knew it was going to be some get back. I understood that. And so when she called the house, this being my college ex, and asked for somebody else, that just pretty much sealed the deal in my mind. You know, that I was right with the long distance thing, right? So I'm dealing with these women. I meet my soon to be wife the first time in a bar. And I go up to her, I try to talk to her. She was listening, but she was acting stuck up, as we call it, acting like she wasn't interested. And so when my guys, they was like, you get her? It's like, nah. I said what we used to say all the time. I said, F that B. And I went on and was talking to other girls that same night. Like, I wasn't thinking nothing of it, right? So a couple weeks later, one of my right-hand men, we on this porch talking because he lived next door. Like, I knew him from high school, but he had moved on our block and he lived next door, and me and him got tight. because he was always cool. I always liked him in high school. I just didn't, like, I ain't really hang with dudes in high school like that, other than even the ones I knew and grew up with. Like, I pretty much had my little set of friends, and I dealt with the dudes I already knew, but I ain't deal with them at school because they was, you know, to be honest about it, they was going to skip out parties, just all type of stuff. So, you know, I was kind of limited how I deal with them at school, because I saw how they act at school. And, you know, by my 11th grade year, I was in the academically talented class. I don't know exactly why. They gave me some reasons why they put me in there, that, you know, in terms of my abilities, as far as academically, they said basically, we know from your track record that you're a smart kid. And so I got in a couple little skirmishes at school, and next thing I know, I was in the office in a meeting with the principal. I think it was and a couple of teachers and different people was in there, and they said, well, we're gonna put you in pt. But I had to wait till I got the little letter or whatever. So I got the letter. I had to accept the program. So I accepted it. I ended up being in the academically talented, which was basically on the other side of the building. And it was funny because a lot of people that I knew previously, I didn't even know they went to my school until years later on Facebook. I'm like, wait a minute, you went to Custer? I didn't even know you was at Custer. Because we were in them last 2 years, I was on the other side of the building. There was a lot of people I didn't even know they was there. Because, you know, you had different lunch periods, different this, different that. I'm like, man, you went to Custer? I don't remember you from Custer. So, moving on, I ended up going down to college, you know, dealing with women, this, that, and the other. And like I said, when I first met her, she rejected me. So I still was talking to one of the ones that I dealt with in school. Now, when I first met the soon-to-be wife, she had her sisters telling me she wasn't here. She was asleep. She was gone. That's another red flag, because I don't know what was going on. Even to this day, like I would call at 5, they would tell me she in the bed asleep. So okay, I'm gonna call at 7. She in the bed asleep. I'm like, so she's sleeping from 3 o'clock for the rest of the night. I ain't believe it. I didn't believe it. So I'm like, she probably either got another boyfriend or something going on. So I kept trying. I finally got through. We started talking. We got close or whatever. I'm still dealing with women, but not as much. I'm starting to weed myself off. But she was still talking to dudes and including in my face. So I'm like, oh, that's how it's going to be? Like, one time I left. I said, that's how it's going to be? You going to talk to these dudes while you want me over here then? You know, and I was ready to jump back with them, because I was still in kind of, you know, that simp stuff where you should never try to fight over a girl. If she wanted to deal with somebody else, just let her. But see, I didn't know this. I'm a young dude. I'm only, 22, 23. So I'm like, getting slick with them in the background. They wasn't responding. So one particular day I left. But, well, I'm skipping parts of the story. Let's go back to when we met. I'm skipping a big part, and this is important. So a couple weeks later, my right-hand man said, man, she got this sister. Her sister fine, this, that, and the other. He started describing her. I said, wait a minute, I think I know them from it was Claws. We called it the goalpost back in the day. So when he said, well, they finna come over here. They came over here, and I was right. It was her, the one that rejected me in the bar. I said, why you was acting like that? Oh, I just didn't want to be there, this, that, and the other. Right? Skip past This is when, in the beginning, not answering, not asleep. She sleeps. She lived. Me personally, I thought she was dealing with other guys. She denies it, but like, she was dealing with other people, man. So we end up getting close. Like, all of that stuff was stopping. She was being lovey-dovey in the beginning and acting like she was down for me and all this, all that. And you seem like you got all these plans, all these dreams, all these visions, right? And telling me that's what she liked about me, this, that, and the other. So I proposed, and she said yes. And we went to the courthouse, which never do. Don't do it. It's cheaper. But listen, man, that marriage license is what's going to get you cooked. We went down to the courthouse. We got married. We had a big reception. Real nice party for our reception. So we were staying on 21st. See, I had moved off the block because, the block was hot anyway. And I was making it hotter with the stuff I was doing back then. So I had moved off the block. And, that's when we started dealing with each other more, this, that, and the other. Now, we got married. We had a 1-bedroom apartment. That's when she got pregnant with my first son. And then, when we got pregnant, she got pregnant with my first son, we said, well, we need to be able to save money, this, that, and the other, so we moved with her parents. Eventually, we start getting our own places, like we owned a couple houses, this, that, and the other. But the fighting was always there. And one of the reasons was she just would never get these guys away from her. She would never, they was always around, and it almost seemed like she liked it. And I was getting mad, like I wanted to fight. And one particular night, I punched the dude out. He tried to hurry up and leave. Every time I look up, he was trying to talk to her. This was before we got married. Keep up. So I ended up punching the guy out, and they both was out because when I hit him, he tried to duck. I don't know if he tried to move out the way or the impact from the punch, but him and the other dude, like, they kind of hit heads, and they both was like out of there. So I'm like telling him, get out the car. I look in there, his buddy wake up. They speed off. The reason why I'm going backwards with this is to show you that, like, one of the problems, I gave up all those women, right? I stopped dealing with women, but it just was even as boyfriend and girlfriend, these dudes was just always trying, always around, and wasn't nothing being done about it. So we get married. The fight never stopped. The fight never stopped. Like, we'll be getting along, then we'll get into it. I would have to always apologize because she didn't apologize. Like, so when I was wrong, I had to apologize. When I wasn't wrong, I had to apologize. This is just the simp stuff you deal with trying to make a relationship work. I'm showing y'all how it is. So the fighting was always there. My first son was born. A couple years later, our next son was born. Because you don't fight every day. Like, you'll get into it, then y'all make up. You get into it, y'all make up. And so, one particular time, like right before my second son was born, I was in the church and everything, but what that mean? Church guys need to be honest, man. Them lusts don't go away, and you shouldn't want them to. You got to learn how to control them. I'm buying prawn on pay-per-view. Remember back in the day, cable, you could buy it. I'm sitting there watching it. She found out. Keep in mind that pretty much the whole time, whether it's church, every time I look up, there's some dude somewhere in some corner talking. But when I was paying for that stuff, and to this day, she won't let it go. But that's what I did. I didn't go out and physically cheat, but I was watching that stuff, because it's not that I wasn't getting it back in those days. It's just, you got to realize it takes a while for a guy to go from practically getting it anytime he feel like it from women to just sticking to one. So I was watching that stuff, that was a big fight, this, that, and the other. She talking about she was going to leave over me watching the stuff, because at this time, we're in the church and stuff like that. She pregnant with my second son. She brought that up when I was watching the stuff. So years go on, same thing, fighting, arguing, making up, fighting, arguing, making up. But right around 2009, I would say, she got pregnant again, and we ended up losing it. It was our son Dylan. We ended up losing the baby, and then we lost another one. So we lost two. But what I noticed, and this is one of the points I want to show y'all with marriage, that you got to realize, being a single man, you only got to worry about yourself. When you start getting married, it's like you gotta realize that it's gonna be another person that you gotta watch out for. You gotta look out for. We're gonna get to that. So when we lost our first son, stuff was never the same after that. Like, I noticed that the fights and the arguments got more intense. I noticed, it just seemed like it's some sneaky stuff going on. Like, it was just a whole lot of different things going on. Like, and I would say right around 2009, because we lost our son. Like, I just kind of went into a shell, and that was just how I felt I needed to deal with it, to handle it. Like, and she took it personal. Like, she took it like I wasn't there for her. No, it's not that I wasn't there for her. It's just I had to deal with the grief my own way. But she never let the porn thing go. She still brings it up. Then when that happened, that just made it even worse. It was almost like the bomb was built, and now somebody coming to light it. So when that happened, then I had these paper routes. She was actually, she was helping me with the routes, man. Like, she was, back then, she was helping me with those paper routes. We had like 2 paper routes, and she ended up losing the second kid. Me personally, what I believe is, I believe that she thinks that's my fault because she was helping me do those routes. We don't know why it happened. I believe it happened because one time she was sick, and I went to the doctor. I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but I said, so my wife is sick. I was telling him symptoms. What should I give her, right? He went and got some Sudafed. Now, I found out after the fact that Sudafed will cause stillbirth. Like, that's what I found out. That's what I was told by other medical professionals. So We lost the second child. That just made the fights even more intense, you know. Now keep in mind, at this time I'm working jobs and stuff, right? And some of those jobs, I don't know what these people problem was, but I just couldn't. I was still trying to get out of street mode. And it's like these people that I know can't whoop me. It's just making all types of problems at work, and I'm sitting there trying to take it, but after a while, I'll be like, man, this ain't worth it, man. This don't pay enough for me to be dealing with this garbage. So I quit a couple jobs. One job I quit, that's the job that caused like a lot of damage, because I was trying to start a business at the time while I was still working there, and I ended up quitting that job to start the business. And the business fell. It fell. It happens, man. Look, man, this is what I be saying about marriage. You don't give up your dreams because you married, man. Like, my whole goal the whole time was to be in business for myself. I'm not finna be answering to these people for short money. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it created financial problems along the way. You know, because it was just the same thing. The devil was getting in these people. This is what was happening. This is how you can't tell me the devil ain't a real being. You start a job, everything be going smooth. Then they'll either hire somebody or somebody will come from another department, and they'll just create all types of problems. That happened from off and on. That was happening, I would say, from 2000, let me see, 2004. It just kept happening. Like for instance, I was a baker at Pick and Save. It was a Pick and Save. It's a Walmart now. It used to be Pick and Save over on Brown Deer Road. Everything was cool. Like, the person that taught me, I knew she was rainbow, but she was cool. She was cool. Like, she didn't like focus on that, this, that, and the other. We rarely ever talked about it. She taught me the job, right? So our manager quit. Our manager was real cool, but she had quit. Somehow she moved on to another job, and they made another rainbow person the lead, right? The rainbow person that I was working with didn't even like her. It's like, because what happened was, everything we did, we was doing things the same way. Wasn't nothing good enough. Nothing good enough. She was always coming back there, criticizing us, complaining, stuff like that. So the first girl, she quit. She's like, man, I'm not even finna work here no more. She had been there for a while. She didn't want to deal with her, so she quit. I'm still dealing with her, so she done got even worse now. So I was like, man, I'm gonna quit too, forget it. So I end up quitting. Like, it comes a time sometimes where you gotta decide if that job is worth the belittlement that sometimes you gonna face at these jobs. And if you're not getting ahead with a particular job where you have to deal with that, then sometimes you gotta you gotta make your decision to move on. Like, because if you don't want to be putting your hands on nobody, or if they getting worse and worse and worse and worse by the day, y'all know what be happening on these jobs. You know why it be happening? Because some of these people be staying at them jobs too long. I know plenty stories. You can't tell me. I know the whole story about what happened at Miller, because I know somebody that worked there. And he told me. He said they was messing with him, and he took it thinking he'll just retire. They found out he was getting ready to retire, so they tried to fire him before he could, and he snapped. That's what I was told from another worker at the place. Now, things happen, financial problems happen. We always bounce back. We done had cars repossessed. We'll bounce back. We'll get another car, this, that, and the other. That's not what created the problems. That contributed to some of them, but that didn't create them. Because you can't say that created them, because we always bounce back. What created the problems in my marriage was unforgiveness. Unforgiveness. When you don't forgive people, it's like the next thing happens, everything that happens will make it worse. Next thing you know, you insulting each other. Some people end up physically fighting. We ain't physically fought. Other than shoving each other when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, we never physically fought. But when you don't forgive, that's what, no matter what you try, you could be rich. If one or the other is not forgiven, that marriage is still going to be in trouble. And people don't forgive, and that's why you shouldn't put yourself in this situation. Because what if it happened to you? What if you marry somebody that hold everything you do against you, or you hold everything she does against her? Eventually, you already know what's going to happen. Either somebody's going to pass away because the toxins are built up and people get sick, or y'all going to end up going y'all separate ways anyway. Your marriage is doomed from the point that you refuse to forgive another person. Now, cheating, you don't forgive that. Well, let me rephrase. You forgive it within yourself, but you don't stay with a person, a woman who cheats on you. Man, it's cheating when you start lying about it. If you telling her you ain't dealing with no other women and she finds out you are, that's cheating. Because you really should have either practiced polygyny or whatever. And if she wasn't with it, you just left her alone. So, unforgiveness was building up because trials and tribulations. And I'm going to show y'all something. I had more trials and tribulations in life being a married man than I did being a single man. Way more, far more. So if you think that you getting married somehow is going to keep God from allowing trials and tribulations in your life, you better think again. And I bet you it's a lot of dudes that had the same testimony that they had more trials and tribulations. I haven't been extra blessed by being married. I haven't. So if you think that, if you let these preachers put that in your head, you're going to find out the hard way. So, double standard too is another thing. You can't expect things like, if you're a woman, you somebody's wife, you think that it's okay for you to do things that you will leave him if he did it. So an emotional affair happened. I forgave. But I'm going to show you what I did. When the criticizing was coming on me, guess what I brought up? The emotional affair. See, that's the mistake I made. If I'm going to bring that up, then I might as well have just moved on. Because when you bring up stuff in a marriage that didn't go right or somebody wasn't doing right, that's just fuel for the fire. You're gonna make matters worse. So I start bringing that up. Then I start bringing up lies, stuff my vetting caught. You said this right here, and you turn around and try to switch it up right here. When you know how to vet, you're going to catch that stuff. But what's happening, though? You're making your relationship fail even more. See, what y'all need to start doing, y'all need to say, okay, well, you draw your lines in the sand. We ain't gonna be no cheating, this, that. We'll work our way through this and this, but I'm not working my way through that. This is all the stuff that you had to already have mapped out. So, because when you bring up stuff, and when stuff happens, like especially if one of you has a double standard, when stuff happens, it's gonna hit harder. So now, went from emotional affair to lying. So what happens? Trust is destroyed. It's already being challenged, the whole entire relationship. When you're in a relationship, your trust is gonna be challenged the whole time. So, emotional affair, say, you know what, man, I don't believe nothing happened. I don't know, but I'm gonna work through it. Around that time, it seemed like things just got weird. I don't know what happened around that time, but I'm saying things got weird. Like, we used to, before all of this, we used to talk on the phone a lot. Like, just on the phone a lot. This, that, and the other. After all this stuff, just stopped talking like that. We wasn't on the phone and stuff like that. And so, one thing led to another. You know, we was trying to work through it. Of course, we moved to Texas. Didn't get better, it got worse. Here's what happened in Texas. So, what was going on was I was being asked questions because she knew I would give an honest answer. So after the questions, now I'm being accused of trying to get with women at the job because I'm telling her about the women at the job and what go on at the job. Now I'm being accused of. So one night, me and my friends, we went out and because he was having problems, you know, like problems down there. I was having my problems. He said, man, I need to have some fun. I need to take my mind off of it. He said, hey, what you doing, man? I'm finna come get you. I was in Euless, Texas. He was in Arlington. So he came and got me one night. She already knew we was going. He came and got me. We went to a bar. We wasn't dealing with nobody in the bar. We just laughing and drinking beer and stuff like that. Now, I called her from the bar. I said, hey, we still at the bar, such and such. Well, I'll be home, such and such. I come home, we got in a big fight. She knew where I was at. Just was accusing me. So, we got in a big fight. She slapped my phone out my hand, was threatening to leave. So I'm like, go ahead, you leave, you already know. I'm not finna chase you. If you leave, I probably will mess with somebody. This is what I told her. So, you know, we worked through that too, obviously. We come back to Milwaukee. Fights got worse. The fights got worse. You know, we don't got to get into all what the fights was over. I'm telling you, I never cheated. So, it wasn't over that. So, fast forward. We in 2018, 2019, I'm seeking answers. I'm praying to God, trying to figure out what exactly is the problem, right? The answers I was getting was not the answers I expected. It was basically like, you're part of the problem, but you're not the problem. I was part of the problem because I wasn't perfect in the things, some of the decisions I was making, and so on and so forth. But the Most High told me, you're not the problem. And I'm thinking like, what do he mean by that? So he started leading me through the scriptures. The head of every woman is the man. Men shall have rule over. He was just basically showing me what the words say about it. So eventually I come across the scripture about polygyny. And it's like, when I first learned about polygyny, I wasn't trying to practice it. I just knew about it. I was like, wow, so these chicks been getting over. That's what I said exactly to myself. So these chicks been getting over. So one particular day we had a conversation about it. Turned into a real nasty fight. And I was told, you'll never get this again. That's what I was told. Now, I'm not trying to put certain aspects of what I'm saying into it, but I'm showing you what happens in a marriage. You think longevity, I've been told by people, well, when a person been together for a long time, that stuff don't matter, man. Sometimes they get even worse, and they'll do more the more time goes by. So things changed, we're just gonna say. And after a while, I just got tired of it. I'm fighting, I'm doing this, I'm required to do this. But yet, this ain't right, this is selfish, this. So I'm like, tired of fighting. I wrote out the thing, said, as from this day, we not this. 25 years, man. 25 years. I left out so much of this, but I'm sure you get the parts that I didn't leave out that you understand. Now, insults went for it today. See, this is what happens when you know your relationship is over and you try to stay with people for kids. What's gonna happen next? A police standoff or some weird stuff? Nah, I ain't gonna let that happen. Deuces. Well, I don't mean to do it like that, because my apologies to anybody that's in any gangs. I know what this means. I'm no longer affiliated with certain things. I'm just throwing up, well, let me do it like this. Deuces. Because if I turn it sideways, that means something, and people out there know what that means. I'm sure General Tito know what that means, and I'm sure Black Ram know. When you do it like this, you claiming something. I'm not active in anything. Put it that way. And I apologize for people who are active and you into that sort of thing. Out of respect, I will apologize to you. Because when you do it like this, it means something else. And I know what it means. I'm no longer active. But, so, when you try to stay for kids, what you really need to do is you need to measure how well y'all get along. Oh, if you know what a man is supposed to be and a woman is supposed to be, you're not gonna make it with a woman that's trying to tell you what to do but not help you. I'm telling you, that is, trust me, if you know how it's supposed to be and that's what you experiencing, it's gonna be rough, man. So, in these last couple minutes, I think I done gave you a story. Listen, you think you want to get married until you find out what changes in marriage. You had the king over these women from day one with no remorse. You don't mistreat them, you don't be cruel, but you king over them with no remorse. Because if you be letting stuff slide, and you don't know, it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse. And then one day you're going to find out how it's supposed to be. And it's going to make it even worse because you don't allow this. The women ain't, when your man have financial failures and problems, you either help him or you support him. Ain't no in between. In between is you criticizing him, telling him what he should do. Ain't no in between. You either gonna help him or you gonna support him. If you gonna be a stay at home, then you gotta be quiet. You can't be criticizing. You shouldn't do what are you gonna do? I'm telling y'all, man, this is the stuff that's gonna cause you to end up divorced, and you're gonna end up losing half of your stuff, and you're gonna be paying this woman like she your pimp. So, king over them from day one. And if they don't like it, tell them they could leave. They could go get them another man that's a simp. You got a king over them. You are the man. You tell them. You tell them, y'all ain't got no kids. Look, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pay most of the bills, but you can help me by paying this bill, this bill, this bill. Y'all ain't got no kids. Y'all get kids? Okay. Y'all saving y'all money the whole time. Y'all got kids now. She stay at home, raise her kids. When her kids start getting big enough, go to bed at night, function. Then she finds how is she gonna benefit you again? Is she gonna work from home? She make them do something. Make them do something. Because if you don't, I'm telling you, everything that go wrong, they're going to be looking at it like it's all your fault. People don't always blossom overnight. Marriage is a team thing. Each person has to, okay, this is going to be my role. But if this fails, this is what I need you to do. That's how you got to look at it. If you don't, I'm telling you, man, you asking for it. I'm telling you, man. But anyway, you got a king over them. I don't care if you're gonna deal with women at all in any form of relationship, you have to king them. If they talking that little independent stuff, this, that, and the other, okay, go be independent. Never be ashamed or scared to break up with these women. You are a man. You ain't supposed to fear much of nothing but God. Thanks for watching. Keep tuning in. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel.